Your thing is here.
Shall I will start?
Sorry.
Hey Anish, how's it going today?
Going well?
Right, so like yesterday we were having a very random conversation in your car about the importance of music. While we were discussing the entire concept of Bookbar and how truly significant music could be to any cafe. We've been to multiple cafes. What's really defined a vibe is the background score, the songs that keep playing, right? So, when you were ideating about Bookbar and when you had a certain vibe in your mind, what significance did music and what sort of music was in the picture when you were thinking about it?
Well, to be honest, personally, music is a very important and integral part of a day, right?
Right, right.
You're always listening to something whenever you're hanging out with yourself or whenever you're in transit. For us, it was very important to have the right kind of vibe when someone is sitting at a cafe. I think it is the most underrated yet most powerful component of a cafe, so to speak, because
Yep.
music is something which enhances mood. It
Yeah.
complements mood, it enhances mood,
Yep.
it inspires you. It like sits perfectly in the backdrop of things when you are
Right.
either working,
Right.
when you're a conversation with a friend,
Right.
a celebration.
Yep,
You could be happy, you could be sad, you could be so many feelings, right?
absolutely. I know people are really attentive towards music
So
in a
for
lot of
us,
places.
yes, music was one of the pillars with books and with other things. And in that, I think we were very clear on how we want to get the best of both worlds. Like have a digital footprint, which is streaming music, but also go a little vintage, go a little old school,
Yeah.
get the whole thing of vinyls back.
Fair.
I'm personally a big fan of vinyls and record players, and
Yeah, I
so-
remember when we chill at your place, you have a large collection of records and
Yes, so we are going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the idea was to have a record player
Yeah.
where we can play records. We
Right.
can have all our guests and people come and play their records.
Right.
And just have this in the backdrop of the scheme of things. And
Absolutely.
I think this is a very pivotal and defining point of the culture at Bookbar. And
Right.
for us, it's so encouraging that so many people come. They Shazam.
Yeah.
They are like talking about the vibe. So many people have given feedback like
Yes.
what's the music, who
Right.
curates your playlist.
Yeah.
And that's why we've taken music as a very serious component.
Mm-hmm.
And moving forward, it's going to become more and more deeper. We're going to have
Right.
multiple people coming on board as music selectors who are going to make playlists for different settings.
Right.
And I'm very excited about it.
Very interesting. And before we get into the entire music selection and curation, a very important question: Ki, why records? Because in today's world where everything is it's always digital, you rarely hear people going for physical experiences of music, as in discs or record players. So what is it that I know what is it about the records that usually intrigues me. What is it for you? Like why are you so fond of these physical records?
There is some charm about the crackle of a
Yeah, the
of
needle
a
setting.
record, right?
Yeah.
I'll just show you, like
Yeah.
if I have to switch this on,
Yeah.
right, and if I have to, just get this.
Very beautiful.
So
Yeah, the entire vibe of it.
Firstly, vinyls are supposed to be high quality.
Right.
The recording, the way it is recorded, is
Yeah.
lossless sound.
Absolutely.
That's why it was so popular,
Yeah.
right? Second is, of course, the charm of seeing artwork.
Yeah.
Like look at all these beautiful records. Like
Yeah.
each record has very signature artwork. I'm a big fan of
They're quite timeless.
how people
Yeah.
express through their artwork, right?
Yeah.
Third is, I think there is a beauty of getting something vintage
Right.
in the modern world.
Yeah.
Like as I always say that you should have a digital mind but an analog heart. And at Bookbar, we kind of create a culture which is the best of both.
Right,
Get
right.
the vintage charm,
Yeah.
but do it in a modern setting.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And that's why we love vinyls, and that's why we want to go deeper into it. We want to have
Right.
more people come and contribute.
Right.
So many people have records, but they don't have a record player.
Right.
Just build the community in that way. So, yeah, so Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I could show you the kind of vinyls we have. This is Sam Cooke, the greatest hits. He's the OG R&B artist, 1960s. So many people got inspired by Sam Cooke, and what a beautiful color of the vinyl, right?
Yeah.
So we have Sam Cooke. We've got some very interesting records. We've got the Pink, the soundtracks of all the classics. Like you have the Pink Panther, Midnight Cowboy. You've got
truly
the Poseidon
timeless. Yeah.
Adventure. All the background music which
Absolutely.
in the yesteryears became famous. So
Yeah.
there is some blues. There's some Oriental music which someone gave me. You have Boney M. This spoke to a generation. We've got ABBA. We've got Beethoven, Bach, Mozart. We've got this classic. We'll put it. We've got Bhimsen Joshi. I think again legend.
Yes.
Something which I personally love.
Absolutely.
And Miles Davis. We've been listening to a lot of jazz, and
Yeah.
suddenly jazz has come up in a very
Yeah.
big way. People are starting to
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah.
And I love Miles Davis. It sits perfectly in the backdrop of things, whether you're reading a book or you're having a conversation or you're just having a moment to yourself in solitude, right?
Right. Right.
So that's pretty much why we love vinyls.
Very interesting. And Bookbar will often have a lot of people, coming here for solitude, coming here to just spend time, with themselves, the slow living as we often call it. And within that, just the experience of having a very good cup of coffee, reading a book, and selecting a record for themselves to just play and watching the entire thing spin has has a very intriguing effect on the place as well as a person's participation in the place. So when all of this was being picturized, it was being visualized. How do you personally feel when you're engaging in all of these activities? As someone who's been very heavily involved in Bookbar, what is your connection with music in this place when you're just here by yourself?
Yeah, I think I said it before. For me, there's always a soundtrack in my mind to my life.
Yeah.
And as a music producer and composer, I'm always thinking music.
Yeah.
Say this is the setting and what would be the background score for this conversation.
Right.
You're always thinking like that. So for me, it centers me. It
Right.
helps me center my thoughts. So whenever
Right.
I'm sitting in the cafe, or I'm
Right.
thinking, or I'm like reading a book,
Yeah.
it's always centered me. It's it's like the anchor to everything, right?
Right.
But on the contrary, I also like silence. I think that the silence is also music, so to speak. So it's a very important
Right.
part of the cafe. So both music as well as silence
Yeah.
kind of define the culture, so to speak.
Interesting.
Which record do you like?
So I'm a huge fan of Miles Davis. I also remember Bookbar often has Kendrick Lamar records.
Yes, so one of our guests
Yeah.
he gets Kendrick Lamar. He has two
Yeah.
vinyls. So
And
yeah,
this is one of the most intriguing or one of the most rewarding parts of being an avid music listener, that a person can get their records. Probably the records they might have inherited from their family. Like we know a lot of people who have records from 40 years ago, 50 years ago. But there's very little occasion for them to choose a record player, set that disc down and play it. So Bookbar very interestingly has that option for people as well, right? Where they can bring their own records, they can engage in it, they can, it's almost like recreating a piece of time that's been lost, something their parents might have experienced. But when they sit down and experience that music, it's that very nostalgic, very indulgent feeling which most people have. So again, that's a very interesting idea, because I don't know a lot of places who will allow people to bring their own music and experience it in public. So why is that so? I mean, we always talk about interacting with music irrespective of who it is that's joining us. But why is it that Bookbar as a place or as a platform wants people to bring their music, wants people to bring their take on music and live it? Because we want people to live their music at Bookbar. What's the
So
reason behind it?
it's not just with music. Like we believe at Bookbar, you can come and express yourself
Right.
through our coffee, for example.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because we have specialty coffee and we have so
Yeah.
much of diversity with the beans
Yeah.
and with the pouring method. It's the same with music as well.
Right.
You come, you have record player, you have a record. Come, listen, express yourself,
Right.
do all of that, and that's pretty much the idea. Even with books, like we have books, but you can come and get your book and read.
Right.
So, a true place which defines the culture of slow living is the opportunity to come and express yourself
Fair.
truly,
Yes.
express to the world or express internally, it doesn't matter.
Interesting.
And that's the kind of culture which we are defining, and that's the kind of vibe we are setting. And I think we love it. I mean, look at this place, right? Right now it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. We're
Yeah.
listening to Sam Cooke. We've
Yeah.
got all our people having coffee,
Yeah.
beautiful sunlight.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Very, very beautiful day, and the place just fits in like a glove. Let's circle back to the point we made earlier, where Bookbar wants the regulars. Bookbar wants the Bookbar family, as we roughly like to term it, contribute to the vibe of the place through music. Can we, have a conversation about it? What exactly is the concept, and why are we doing this? If
So
people want
very,
to know.
very interesting. I want to take a minute to talk about what we're going to do with this. That should answer your question.
Yeah.
So playlists have a very special place. We have a lot of people join the jam and
Right.
try to understand what kind of music. So what we're
Right.
doing is we're going to have 4 to 5 people come on board as curators of the playlist and of the whole setting, right? And we are going to get, so all these people are sorry, all these people are from different professions. So
Right.
you are one of them, a poet and a writer. We have a doctor and a fitness coach, a health coach. We have an architect, and we have a music producer also, all coming together,
Absolutely.
creating specific playlists, creating genre-based music, mood-based music.
Right.
And it's not just about global music, it's also about Indian music, it's
Absolutely.
also about local music,
Absolutely.
it's also about celebrating local artists and
Right.
what's happening in the country, underground.
Yes, yes.
So it's a process of discovery.
Yes.
I think with books, with
Yes.
coffee and with music,
Yes.
we want to tie it all with the discovery process. And that's why it is so important to us.
Yeah, because I remember a lot of our bonding moments as all of us as friends and people who are involved officially, unofficially in every way with Bookbar. I remember a lot of our bonding exercises have been all of us in your car and just listening to music, going on really long drives. There's a thing we do, where for those who don't know, we pick a random album or an EP and we don't stop driving till the entire playlist is done, the entire song collection is done. So I believe, at the end of the day, exploring music with the people you're fond of has a very interesting binding experience.
Absolutely.
So will this playlist sort of thing, are we looking at, the regulars of Bookbar or people who are going to contribute, are we looking at people truly connecting on a very different level by interacting and engaging with these playlists? Is that what's in your mind? Was that the central idea behind why the playlists are being done?
Well, it's a part of everything.
Right.
Two people liking a song
Yeah.
is a shared moment. I think the
Precisely.
shared experiences
Yes.
make
Yes.
it that much more better.
Right.
Because shared experiences always create a bond
Yes.
which you can refer to again.
Interestingly, I read something very funny today. When everything is done, and it was from a romantic perspective, but even through friendship and platonic, when connections and relationships die, there's a reason why people go back to a certain song to relive it. It's that final letting go or final nostalgic place where people have in their head. So a song, I believe, could be a very interesting playground for people to bring their memories, engage, because we've always believed this when we've been involved in the process of creating music, right? That we are going to bring our meaning to the set values or set rules of music creation. By the end of the day, I believe these playlists will be something which people can experience, create memories, and when they're in a different phase of life, go back and indulge in those memories again. So is that something which often runs in your mind when you look at music and nostalgia as a part of life and Bookbar?
Always. Anything which creates a memory,
Yeah.
anything which plays with emotion,
Right.
will be cemented
Right.
very deeply in you, right?
Right.
So you always miss a person when
Absolutely.
you listen to a certain music,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because the lyrics also speak,
Yep.
and there is relativity, right? Whatever today is, which enhances, like whatever is relatable, no,
Right.
stays.
Right.
So this is the language of being relatable to whatever moment you are experiencing, right? And
Oh, by the way, so sorry to cut you off. Today is Women's Day. If you could dedicate a song to all the women in your life, truly the important people, important women of your life, what's that one song you'd love to dedicate?
what a difficult question.
I know, which is why I did not discuss this before.
One song for Women's Day.
Yeah.
Uh,
I got one, so if, maybe. So I was thinking about this question randomly while I was having coffee right now. And I came, I was
you
just,
can reduce the volume one second.
yeah, all good. John Mayer ka Heart of Life is such a nice, song to dedicate to all the important women of our lives, right?
Of course.
With the lyrics as well as the harmony, the melodies. It's a song we bond on because the message is quite,
Yeah, for
very
sure.
warm.
I think
very,
it's an interesting
right,
choice.
Right.
I'm just still stumped on the question because I'm just trying to understand like which song is that perfect song for today. But
Maybe something with paper kites.
I couldn't. I'm not a good person to
I mean, yeah,
think of
it
lyrics.
means- yeah,
That's something which is very.
But John
difficult,
Mayer is a pretty good, Heart of Life is a pretty good this thing. Speaking of, John Mayer and these experiences and all of that, do you think there is a possibility in the future for Bookbar to play the hosting ground for some really great music for people to indulge?
That's a good question, and
Yeah.
we are going to be. We have an IP called as After Hours,
Oh.
and one of the things in this IP is to kind of curate live music,
Right.
something like what NPR does, Tiny Desk.
Ah.
So we
Ah,
want to
interesting.
like
Yeah, yeah,
have a
yeah.
more intimate, shorter
Right.
form of whether it's a DJ
Right.
set, whether it's a live
Absolutely,
set,
absolutely.
whether it's a two-piece jazz band, whether it is whatever. So the inside
Yes.
section of Bookbar
Yes.
will definitely host
Yes.
local talent
Yeah.
from all genres.
That's quite a
And-
beautiful imagery when you think about it. Some soft music and a person, interacting and engaging with that music and reading a book.
As I said,
So
it's this culture is all about expression,
Right.
and it's all about either expressing through coffee,
Right.
through books, through
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
or just by sitting in silence and being
Yes.
yourself, right? I
Very
think
interesting.
that's the whole
Right.
context of all of this. The backdrop of Bookbar
Right.
is always cemented in this.
Right.
So that's why people love it. People,
Very interesting.
we've spoken to so many customers, so many guests, and they all echo this. Like
Right.
we love the fact that there is a place which encourages this sort of expression. They feel
Right.
at home.
Right.
And at the end of the day, any place is known for its culture. Yes, of course, product is important, but it all depends on how you make someone feel.
Right.
That's true hospitality,
Right,
right?
right.
How do you make someone feel? What someone could be the first person coming for the
Right.
first time,
Right.
or it could be the 100th time. Both have to
Interesting.
feel the same.
Interesting.
The 100th time someone is coming also needs to feel the same as the first person, or for someone coming for the first time.
Continuity. It's
If we
that
can tick
consistency.
all those boxes every day through all the three pillars of coffee, of books, of slow living, of
Right,
music,
right.
then we have set the culture, we've set the trend. And that's the best take back from all of this.
Right. Alright, so like one last question before we, go and do our things. A lot of people might not be, lucky enough to experience Bookbar because they're probably watching this from different cities, different places. Could you give like a good enough idea of what a person should expect musically as well as culture-wise once they set their foot in Bookbar? Like what's that feeling you think people, most of the times might get with Bookbar?
Fall in love with life again.
And what if a person is already head over heels in love with life?
Then amplify it.
Yeah, it's just like a dedication to the fact that they're in love with life.
Be connected, be beautiful,
Yeah.
have great coffee,
Yeah.
hang out with yourself, love
Yeah, yeah.
solitude,
Yeah, yeah.
celebrate with friends.
Right.
come cry, make a great business deal, come
Absolutely.
celebrate someone's birthday.
Something in it for everyone.
Absolutely, and that's what cafe culture is, and not just
Yeah.
Bookbar. That's how cafe culture should be. Like we
Right.
all see this in Europe, for example.
Yeah.
Why not have it here?
Absolutely.
And it's fluid, it's tangible,
Right.
it's something which you experience. And there's always something to take back. When you step out of Bookbar, you are 1% more better, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? And then those things are very important. The small 1% of things every day.
Truly. It's crazy, right? I mean, like, these last few things I'd like to say before we sign off, because we've had conversations about, a place, not a book bar, but a place in multiple of our chilling sessions where we are like, there should be a place where it allows people to truly be, connect with themselves, fall in love with the slower pace of life, indulge in it, experience it, find your calling and all of that. It's crazy as someone, who's been a part of those हवा में conversations हो रहे थे उस दिन उस time पे to now someone who's sitting in a place and who can visualize and experience all of this. For you the journey has been tremendous, because from ideating and feeling and wishing and longing for it to now you're hardcore, your core, you're a member of the core of Bookbar. How does it feel now? It's been quite a long journey for you. What's
One day
the
at a time,
experience?
grateful, that's the word.
Yeah.
No other word. It's great to practice what you preach.
Yeah.
And it's great to empower. I love empowerment. And very grateful to be able to live one day at a time.
All right.
One song at a time, one day at a time, one coffee at a time.
Absolutely. That's a
One
good
woman
sending
at
off
a time.
statement. We'll probably scratch that. But no, what did you say?
Nothing.
So my good sir said one coffee at a time,
I think this interview is done.
one song at a time, and one woman at a time is what he said. That's a very interesting statement to make.
Right,
We're probably going to cut this off, but yeah, sure.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, all right. So let's wish our audience goodbye, and let's hope that we run into them here again.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.